I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
Hello people, Katie Azevedo here from SchoolHabits.com. Today's video is about the top 5 best school habits of all time, okay? So what's the difference between an A+ student, a C student, and an F? Not you, an F student, gosh. The obvious answer is that students with higher grades score better on like homework and exams than do students pulling off C's and lower. But have you ever thought, like really thought about why some students are that much better at school than others? To a small degree, it might indeed come down to like a genetic predisposition for learning, like you're born smart, okay? But to a much larger degree, it does come down to a student's school habits. So without good school habits, good grades are nearly impossible. Without cheating, which you guys would never do, because that's ridiculous, right? I'll bet that all of the smartest students that you guys know have some pretty basic school habits in common. So sure, these people might be smart, but maybe, just maybe, they got that way because they mastered their habits first. Food for thought. So here I'm outlining 5 school habits that are fundamental to getting better at school. There are boatloads more than this, but these 5 make the cut as the ones that are most directly related to becoming a better or just a smarter student. Ask your smart friends. I'll bet, ask yourself, because you're your smart friends, right? But ask your smart friends. I'll bet they use all, if not at least some of the ones that I list here. So onward to the 5 best school habits of all time. Number 1, and I feel like I say this in all of my videos, but it is so important, you gotta be organized. It totally starts with knowing where your stuff is. So first and simplest, keep your school materials organized. You should have a spot at home or in your dorm where you keep everything you might need for your assignments, from pencils to calculators to folders, whatever you need. And this stash does not have to be humongous. Like, you don't need to have a Staples in your basement, but just sufficient enough to prevent like last-minute trips to the store. And then second, keep your notes organized. So keeping your things organized is one thing, and keeping your notes organized is another. If your note-taking skills need help, watch my note-taking video. Awesome strategies in that, okay? But to sum it up, what you do is you make sure you're taking excellent notes in class and then rewriting them up daily. So you take your notes in class, I know this sounds repetitive to those who follow, but you take your notes in class and that same day you rewrite them or you retype them, okay? Filling in all the blanks that you had during class. Because if you're taking notes really quickly in class, you're not jotting down everything. You're missing things. There's areas that need clarification, and that's what you do later that day when you go back and you clean up your notes, you fill in the blanks, you answer the questions that you had during class. So this step might sound overwhelming, but it's a key school habit that you'll be so glad that you developed early. So be sure to keep these notes organized in folders or notebooks, or if you're using app, like if you're a techie, store them in a way that makes sense to you in your app in folders, right? Virtual folders, so that they're easy to find when you need them. You might have awesome notes, and if you can't find them, they're not awesome. So third, keep track of your assignments. So you're keeping track of your materials, you're making awesome notes, keeping track of those, and then keep track of your assignments. Get yourself an assignment notebook where you write down everything you need to do for your classes and when it's due. I used to get so excited when the school would give us an assignment notebook. I think it had like unicorns on it. I don't even know what it was. I didn't even care. It was just awesome being like, that's where I'm gonna put my stuff. I get excited about notebooks, so maybe that's just me. But no matter how small the task, you write it down. Write everything down. Even if you think you'll remember something, write it down. Your assignment notebook, it might include a calendar or just a blank page per day, right, where you list out your assignments, put the date on the top. Or probably it would include a combination of the two. That's probably the most effective. There's so many like great calendar and list apps out there if that's more your style. But the key to getting this right is to use your system. You need to use your system, whatever it is, so you trust it. If you don't use your system, you're not gonna trust it. If you don't trust your system, it's not gonna work for you. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is to manage your time. I feel like I talk about this one in all my videos too. If I keep repeating it, it's probably important. But step two, manage your time. All right, so you've managed your materials, you managed your notes and assignments, that's all one thing. But another is managing your time. If you feel like you don't have enough time in the day, then join the club, right? Because honestly, we all feel that way. Nobody has enough time to do anything, but somehow we all make it work. I know that I think, oh my God, I have so much to do. I have no time. I must be the only one in the world. And I get so wrapped up in like, I don't have time. But then I look outside of myself, you can do that too, where you see people with 1,000 bajillion more things to do than you, than me, and less time, and they make it work. I've got a full-time job. I do this. I have 2 crazy toddlers. When I say crazy, they're awesome, but they're crazy. I have so much to do. But even with all the amount of work that I have to do, other people have more than me. And somehow we gotta find a system that makes it work. If I can make it work, if they can make it work, you can make it work, right? So the first step to managing your time, sorry if that sounded harsh, but it's true, okay? I'm like, oh. The first step to manage your time is to get a grasp on 2 things. Number 1, how much free time you really have. This is excluding school, excluding your activities, your commute time, your sleeping, the time it takes you to eat and take a shower, right? That's number 1. And number 2, what you need to get done in that time. So I strongly suggest you take a few minutes, whether it's every day or weekly. I would totally do it daily, but weekly might suit you, where you map out exactly what you're gonna do and when. Okay, those are 2 really important parts, what and when. And then stick to the schedule, really stick to it. And with schedule, I mean, it's all fun to make, but if you don't stick to it, it's not useful, right? I do go more into depth on this topic in another one of my videos and my blog posts about how to find more time to get everything done. So if you need some more information about this, or this is where one of your weaknesses, then go check that out, okay? But if you truly cannot complete all your assignments in the amount of time that you have, like you've really tried, the obvious solution is to do less, because clearly you can't magically expand time. And if you've honestly tried your hardest to manage your time, you avoid procrastination, you work really diligently and focus and etc., and you still can't get it all done, then perhaps reconsider where you're spending the rest of your time. I mean, do you really have to belong to 4 clubs? Do you have to volunteer at 2 different places? Obviously, these are activities that you enjoy, okay, and you want them on your transcript, but they're not worth it. Trust me, they're not worth it. If they're coming at the expense of your grades, and more importantly, truthfully, your sanity, okay? So if you don't have time, you can't make time, do less, okay? There are a bazillion studies out there, like give or take 1, but there's like a bazillion studies out there that prove how helpful establishing a routine can be to productivity. I'm a super routine person. That's just like a type A thing. But even if you're not a type A, if you're type B or C, whatever type, routines can still benefit you for sure. So I highly recommend routinizing, if that's even a word, okay, at least some parts of your day. Whether you follow a routine right after school, day in and day out, that's the key to routine, keep doing it, or you establish a weekend routine where every Sunday at 1, you designate a study time or something like that. But routines are amazing. Google the stuff out there about routines. They really, really are effective. And if you think about what a routine is, it's a series of habits. School habits, right? That you do over and over and over again. And as you create a habit, it takes work. I mean, there's studies out there that say it takes 21 days to make a habit. I don't know if that's proven, but the more you do something, the more natural it's going to become. And the more natural it becomes, the less you have to think about it. The less you have to think about something, the more of a routine it becomes, okay? So it's not that like random Sundays at 1 or 3 or 5 you decide to study. It's every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Obviously if the Patriots are playing at 1, then you can't be studying at 1, okay? But you do it, you figure out this routine and you stick to it, okay? So number 3, don't procrastinate. And in fact, don't just procrastinate, get ahead, okay? So you all know that procrastinating or delaying tasks until the last possible minute is a terrible study habit, like terrible. So clearly I recommend not doing that. But to take this one even further, I recommend doing the exact opposite of that, which is doing or starting assignments before they're due. Impossible, you say? Ha! You can totally do this. You can totally do this. If you manage your time right, and if you take advantage of slower homework days, study halls, half days, vacation days, whatever, sick days, okay? Then you could absolutely find time to get ahead on some essay or some reading assignment, whatever. You might have to fight the urge to spend this free time in bed or on Instagram, which we'd all rather do, okay? But trust me, you'll be so much less stressed if you just start something instead of pushing it back. Just think of the weight lifted off your shoulders when you're done and everyone else is still in a panic. There's no better feeling than being done. You go out for a run, you dread going out for a run, you're dreading it when you're in a run, unless you're me, I like that part. But it's the best feeling when you're done with your run. So if you have difficulty finding the motivation to get out the door for your run, to start the task, focus on that feeling at the end. Like, is that the best feeling when you're done running? Or for all you non-runners out there, sorry, but you're like, oh, that was the best run ever. I'm so glad I'm done. Same thing with a homework assignment. Probably not awesome to start it. Awesome feeling to start it. It's not a great feeling as you're in it. But when you're done, that's like, oh, the best. Focus on that. Let that be your impetus for starting, okay? Number 4, ask for help. So few people ask for help these days. I don't know why. Your teachers are literally paid to teach you, and that means after school, if need be. Sometimes you're just gonna find the material hard, but the longer you wait to get the help, the more behind you're gonna be, which is just gonna stress you out. And this type of stress, the type that you can completely avoid, it's not good. It's not good. So seriously, ask your teacher for help. Stay after school, raise your hand, ask questions in class, find a tutor or another teacher with maybe a different teaching style who can explain it differently. Search for answers online. Ask your friends. Whatever you do, for goodness sake, don't just sit silently not understanding things. Okay? You might think that the A+ students just know the material because they're smart. But ask any one of them and I'll bet they get extra help either to understand the material or to understand it more. And number 5 is to know yourself. So not to get all yogic on you, okay? But you need to understand yourself so you can work with your natural tendencies instead of against them. Know your strengths. Your weaknesses. Get to know what gooses you, what stresses you out. Are you a morning person? And study and get things done in the morning, okay? Instead of fighting against yourself trying to stay up late. Or maybe you're a night owl, in which case actually plan to get your things done at the end of the day. Make it deliberate, okay? Instead of early in the morning when you're not on your A game. Do looming assignments like seriously stress you out? Meaning, just the thought of a paper due next week gives you like that sickening pit in the stomach. I'm like that. Then get them done early, which is school habit number 4, of course. And get them done, really get them done so that you don't have to fret. There's no need for that stress. Or maybe actually you're the type of student who thrives under a little pressure. Then plan to complete your assignments closer to their due date. Not like the day before they're due, but a little bit closer. Careful with this one though. You don't wanna lazily procrastinate, kidding yourself you're putting things off in the name of knowing yourself. Okay? But if you make a deliberate effort to get things done closer to the due date, not right at the due date, but maybe that gives you a little fire under your butt to get it done, if that's how you work and if that's who you are. If you dread math and you take a long time to complete math assignments, to study for math tests, then budget more time for these tasks than you would for other subjects. You gotta know your weaknesses. And when you know your weaknesses, you plan for them. When you really start to understand yourself as a person and as a student, and when you learn to align your routines, your time, and your tasks with your natural tendencies, then you will be unstoppable. That might sound corny, but really, just work with who you are. Okay, that sounds all yogic, okay? Anyways, so those are the top 5 school habits of smart students. The more of these habits you master, the awesomer you'll be. All right, guys, that's it. If you need me to explain anything further, you have any questions for me, as always, you can find me, SchoolHabits.com. Thanks for watching.